cactus and succulent growers, it's Lynn, and in today's video this is just a very quick video of just giving the our little white polytunnel greenhouse here that we house all our cereus, a lot of our cereus cactus plants in for spring and summer, a bit of a clean up in preparation for the upcoming spring. So this is a bit of a early spring cleanup, and this white little greenhouse here is one we have as an additional greenhouse to our large big 10 by 20 green polytunnel that we house the majority of our cacti and succulents in. But this one here is an additional one that we got last year that we house all of our cereus cactus plants in. Well, a lot of our tall cereus cactus plants for the spring and summer. Now, the majority of our cereus cactus plants are all in our grow room in the house at the moment. Some of our, mostly our ones that are not cold hardy, such as our pilosa cereus and other type of cereus cactus plants that can't take the cold. So they're overwintering in the grow room that you see here with under the grow lights. And then come April time, hopefully when it starts warming up, April, May at the latest, they're going to be coming out into this white greenhouse for the spring and summer months. Now, I've not really been in this white greenhouse here over the winter months, other than just to check on the carnivores. We've got some carnivores here that I'd have to just fill up with water every now and then to make sure that they're watered, and also just to check on our agaves here that are cold hardy, that get sort of make sure that they're all okay and they're not getting any cold damage. And I've got a few plants here. These are three of one of my Camacereus silvestris, commonly known as the peanut cacti, and I have a lot of these in my polytunnel already, but these particular three are ones that always seem to be coming down with spider mite even in the winter time. So I have them here in this greenhouse over the winter, purely because this greenhouse is not heated. I don't heat it at all. It's fell to about -5 in here at its coldest. Gets a lot of sun during the day, but because I don't heat it, I keep these in here because it helps to prevent any spider mite on these particular three groups of peanut cacti, and it seems to have done the job. As you can see, this is past spider mite damage that it's got. It looks very unsightly, and this is all the new growth from last summer. So it seems to have done the job this year by keeping them in here. My other big polytunnel, where I've got the other majority of my Camacereus cacti, I keep it heated of about 5 Celsius, which is about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. So these particular cacti are extremely cold hardy. They can take many degrees below freezing as long as they're totally dry. I say these are light as feathers. I've not given these any water since September last year, so that's why they seem to have done okay over the winter here. Now, these are ones that haven't done so well, but these were spider plant babies that I potted up, chlorophytums. They're not cold hardy. They can sort of take about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, but any lower than that, as I say, -5 it got here in sort of the December time last year, so they're goners. Also a mother of thousands plant that I kept in here as a bit of an experiment. Funny enough, I've had mother of thousands plants, Calanco Dergamontianis, growing outside, even along the edging of the sandbags of our big main polytunnel, with no frost protection whatsoever, and I had to prune them out. They're surviving, but this one in here has just died, maybe because of lack of ventilation, I'm not sure. And this is my aloe striatula. It's the only aloe that I keep in this unheated greenhouse, and that's because this aloe striatula, also known as the striped aloe because of its lovely stripes going along there, this one is extremely cold hardy and can take many degrees of frost as long as, again, it's kept dry. And this is a new addition that I got, I think it was October last year, from my wonderful friend Galena, and she has hers outdoors in Ireland, believe it or not, and this has done really well. As I say, it's got a little bit of tip damage at the top, but that's, I think it's pretty sure because it's been kept so dry. It's very light. It does need watering, which is why it's hanging. Leaves are curling over, but because we're having a bit of cold weather again at this time of year, the nights are sort of dropping a little bit below freezing still. I'm keeping this dry because it might shrivel. As soon as I water it, when the cold nights have gone, it's going to plump back up again. But as I say, it's come through at -5, absolutely fine, no problems there. So, and again, these agaves came through, no problems. These are sort of cold hard, it all dry as well, and that's the trick. But this is now, as I say, I want to get it all prepped in preparation for the upcoming spring and give this a bit of a clean up in here. The floor is absolutely filthy, and trays there, pots all messy. I also want to prune back a little bit with the carnivores there to tidy up the dead leaves on them. And then it means when the good weather's here, hopefully by April, we can start moving in the ones we've got in the grow room into this other big smaller greenhouse, I should say, here. So just a bit of a tidying up today. As I say, soil everywhere, and this particular greenhouse we got last year hasn't really been great, I have to say. It's been okay for the spring and summer last year, but I've come in here during the winter just to check on the plants briefly, and there's been water on the floor where it's leaked from the seams going across, so it's not particularly very good. It's okay as a spring and summer one, but maybe not good if you've got sensitive cacti that need complete dry protection. But as I say, pretty much okay with these. So I'm going to just film a little bit in stages, a little bit of doing the floor and things like that, and then show you what it looks like when it's all done. So I'm going to start off by giving this corner here, I've removed everything onto there, and then giving it all a broom, and then I can put things back again a bit tidier. By the way, apologies for all the dogs barking in our neighbourhood. I'm not sure what's going on today. I think they're all having a bit of a sing-a-song with each other. Getting rid of all them dead leaves and all the sand that's on the floor. That's the first part of the greenhouse, sort of tidied up a little bit there. And I'm going to start then on the soil bags, and it's just good to take things out and give everything a bit of a clean. All these sorts of soil bags here and all these big pots and that are all going to be going into our main big polytunnel. Once the weather is nice enough and we can move the big tall cereus cacti that we've also got into our big polytunnel into here, then it gives us space to put these, a lot of them sort of under the tables and back into the polytunnel. That gives us all this floor space then, including this big lawnmower. This goes into the polytunnel for the spring and summer as well, so this is coming out, and then we put all our cereus cacti at the back. And it's just good to give it a bit of a clean. The weather's sort of been so cold this winter, and although it's nice and sunny today, it feels very spring-like during the day. The nights are still dropping cold, and I know many of you in the US are experiencing extremely cold weather. As for this time of year, spring is going to be a bit late coming this year, I think. So all our soil bags all put neatly there, so all preparation for all the repottings to do in the spring. And I'll just talk about a little bit about the soil brands I use. I like to use Clover, and that's because it's one of the very few good quality John Innes soil compost that I found, because I used to use Arthur Barra's, and that used to be very good, but you just can't get it anymore. But this is the next best one, Clover, John Innes number 2 and number 3. I always like to mix that with the cactus soil with grit and sand, which I'll show you here, horticultural sharp sand, and a load more grit as well for top dressing and mixing into the soils. Just say Hans and I always like to recycle everything we can, and these are sort of old ice cream cartons that we use. We love our vegan ice cream, one by Swedish Glaze, and they're really good because the pots are perfect shape for potting up some of the wider cacti, and even for growing young seedlings and that. Just put some holes in the bottom, and great to reuse. Ooh, that's it all nice and tidy in here anyway. So although this is all going to be coming out before we bring in the cereus cacti, at least I've made a lot of space in here now, because it's almost spring, and it means I can come in here and do little things. I can also come in here and do videos when I'm doing how-to videos and set the little table up. I've got plenty of space, and it's always good lighting in here. So now all I've got left to do is this table here. Going to give all this a good clean, and I'm going to prune back the dead leaves off the carnivores, and then rearrange it so it's all nice. Under the table we've got garden plant seedlings there that Hans is propagating. He's got more here. I don't actually know, I can't remember what they are now, but he just sowed them in the winter and put the bags on. You can see they've all germinated, so I'll be excited to see what they turn out to be. These are my Venus fly traps, and these are ones I've grown from seed. You can't really see them. There's one little trap that's just started there, because in the winter time they actually go back down to their sort of rhizomes, and then they come up again. This one didn't completely go down, but believe it or not, in the next few weeks they'll just completely go back. I have to prune off all these dried bits. I'm going to leave them on for a little bit longer and prune them all back, and then they all come up again with new growth. This is saved from seed that I sowed probably about 6 or 7 years ago. It's a good few years ago now, and you can just see the little traps, but these do all come up back up again from sort of April time onwards and make a good recovery. It's quite normal for them to look like this. People say why all the traps are going brown or they're looking bad. It's because they're having their winter rest as well, and they do like to have an unheated greenhouse, and they also need to be kept moist all the time. In the spring or summer I keep them in about 1 inch of water, but during the winter time I just make sure that they're all moist. My Sarracenias I will cut back here. All these dead leaves can come off, and I've made quite a few videos about how to remove dead leaves from carnivorous plants and that, so I'll link a video to that up above. Do check that out if you want to know. A lot of people say, do you leave the dead leaves on? I always cut them off, and sort of late winter's the best time, but with my Venus flytraps I tend to wait a little bit late until the beginning, more into spring. You can either pull them up from the base, the dead leaves come off, or if they're hard to remove, just cut the old leaves off. Woohoo, that's it all done, all cleaned and tidied up, and it looks so much better in here. Lots more floor space, and oh, it's so nice just to come in here and it looks tidy until we can bring all this back out again into the main polytunnel. So it means now I've got a lot more space for the upcoming spring, and we're sort of at that in-between stage where I don't know if it's really spring or it's still late winter. Usually spring here doesn't start until the 21st of March. So I have to be a little bit more patient, but it's nice to be getting the brighter, longer days, and just so excited to have got in here doing a bit of cleaning and spring cleaning and tidying up. Rearranged some of the plants that I keep out here for the winter that I don't heat. They'll be okay. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have you been doing any spring cleaning in your greenhouses or in your plant rooms? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to give this video a like. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And for more growing tips, do please check my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to wish you all an amazing plant-powered spring ahead. Woohoo!